I comment, Bill's answer is excellent answer, except he didn't say whether the union agreed to every one of these things. That could create a real problem with open negotiations.
Yeah, I mean, we're right. I mean, I don't know what would happen if one side said we want to meet open and the other doesn't.
Pound sand.
I would assume. I don't know. I'm not. Don't want to put on that. Create legal issues.
I just know I have specific questions regarding the contracts and even specific verbiage and how it ended up in there and what it means to a teacher and how that ended up formulating over the years. And I know contracts are a constant work in progress, and there's certain things that I don't understand, perhaps from a teacher's point of view, why that is important to be in there, where some of it seems like fluff. And if we could possibly clean up that, I would love to have an open conversation with the negotiating team to see.
Yeah, I think the negotiating, I don't want to speak for the union issue, but I'm sure that they might argue that that could be done in executive closed session. In other words, all 5 committee members could sit there and ask whatever questions you wanted of them.
So is this what we would do, is formulate a letter and say we would like to do this, and they can say yes or no, or what would the protocol be?
What the attorney's office
So discretion.
Discretion on how they want to proceed. I don't know what would happen is when, say, the committee said, yeah, we wanted an open. Labor said, no, we don't. I don't know. I'm sure there would have to be some sort of resolution.
Obviously, I think maybe people might behave better if others are watching. I hope. I know. Two, I think what's important is that the public, the Tiverton citizens, have a chance to be part of it and actually have a voice in it. Obviously, they have a voice through the committee, but at the same time, we could take a poll. How many people actually read the contract? And I bet that if you are going to find 20 people who actually read the contract, understand what's in the contract, we will be lucky. Maybe a few more than 20, but not many. And unfortunately, when you later on face things like work to rule, and last time we faced all these things, like what are we not going to do for the kids? We're here. I agree with you. We are here for the students, and obviously we have to, in my opinion, we have to pay very well those who serve the students. We have to pay them competitive salaries, but at the same time, some of the elements within the contract that it starts here, ends here, and there's nothing else I'm going to do. Where's the students here in this equation? So there's some of this. I think that all people in Tiverton should apply some pressure to simply demand that students are provided with very good education. Obviously, there is a price tag attached to this. And I think this discussion should happen in public where parents can participate and parents can speak. One thing I don't see, we can see, for example, that there is a group in town who advocates for taxpayers. And they have a very strong voice in the community. Where is the group which advocates for parents and students? We supposedly represent that group, but at the same time, most parents have no voice except that whatever is done with their children is done with their children, and you entrust your child to the school system and say, hopefully they will do the best. And I think it's important that people should pay attention to it. So I don't know, anyone else on this? Yeah, please. I just will give everyone a chance, and then obviously, yes, please.
In the past few weeks,
our counterparts in Portsmouth and Middletown have quietly and respectfully negotiated their teacher contracts, and I see no reason why we cannot do the same. Regardless of the outcome of the declaratory ruling that we've asked for, we will need to sit down in the very near future and negotiate a successor contract. And it's our responsibility to be committed to bargaining in good faith as required by law, and to remain calm and professional throughout the process, regardless of the disagreements we may have to work through. And I understand that there are always disagreements during contract negotiations. But the reasons for remaining calm and professional are simple. Not only does this approach offer us the best chances for negotiating a fair contract in a timely manner, but I feel it's also what is best for our students and their education. Rhode Island General Law Section 28-9.3-1 states, to achieve high-quality education, it is indispensable that good relations exist between teaching personnel and school committees. Good relations does not mean that we always agree, but it does mean that we always remain respectful and professional. And if after a reasonable amount of time spent negotiating respectfully we reach an impasse, we can always move on to mediation. Now, if before the formal negotiating process has even begun, we vote to dictate ground rules by demanding that all negotiations take place in open session, we will be starting off down the wrong path. And it's clear from what has happened in East Providence that this path will lead us to bypass respectful negotiations completely and instead move on directly to mediation. What's more, the cost will not only be the loss of these essential good relations between our educators and the school committee, but also hundreds of thousands of dollars spent on needless litigation. And I, for one, would much rather see our taxpayers' hard-earned dollars spent on high-quality educational programs for our students than on legal fees. Now, if Mr. Burgundy feels that he does not want to sit privately with teachers or their representatives to negotiate a contract, I would certainly not ask him to do that. We do have other committee members, however, who could join Mrs. Black, and as Mr. Wright has indicated, he has extensive experience negotiating contracts, and I think he would represent us very well. I understand our taxpayers do have an interest in the terms of the contracts, and in accordance with the charter amendment that was passed last November, they will have the chance to review and comment on any tentative agreement before we vote on it. I therefore feel that the best course for us to take for productive negotiations is to start out in private session.